All right. Hey guys, happy witching hour. This is High Priestess Jamila. So I want to do this really, really quick message, and I'm not sure how long I'll be here. I know it can't be that long, but this message has been stuck in my throat, evidently, and this is what spirits is channeling tonight. So there's always a backstory. I had a tower moment, which is what I consider a moment in time where I feel like a tower moment is a realignment moment. Okay. And so around the first part of September was when I had stopped using Etsy. And so, first of all, I want to say this. Please appreciate me for everything that I do, especially when it comes to spell work or anything that I do for you, honestly, because these forces and these spirits that y'all are dealing with, some of them are very negative, malignant, and it's one of those things to where um, I will have to deal with some stuff. And so I had a situation where, it was a petty disagreement. And I bet you this person is going to come back and apologize eventually. But anyway, it was too much for a cleanse. This person possibly needed a hex remover. Um, anyway, the point that I'm leading to is that tower moment led me to someone else. And with this person, there was a spirit that kept trying to stop me from sending this lady her herbs. I finally got literally whatever the hell it was. I kept clearing it. I kept having to send it away, which meant that more than likely it probably had to go back to her. And so, like, literally, it was like I couldn't, for some reason, we couldn't get the printer to work. And it was just like this confusion. And so finally I get the herbs together. Finally, I get them bagged up. I schedule the thing for the USPS to pick up her package. And my son brings the package upstairs thinking that it's a package for me. And this was at night. And I was like, what the heck is that still doing here? So USPS, they ignored or either they skipped over somehow the request. Whenever I send you guys out anything, I schedule a pickup with USPS. Well, for some reason, they didn't pick it up. So I have to reschedule it. At any rate, what this means is that just herbs is not going to help this person. And I've been trying to reach this person. If you are watching, you need to contact me, dear, because this is a person that views my channel. So she's going to really, really enjoy the herbs that she's going to get. However, there is more work that's needed. When it comes to removing hexes and entities, there could be a mirage of things that need to be done. Sometimes to remove entities, it's making them offerings, sometimes food offerings. I mean, it all kind of cockamamie stuff, except for, obviously some of you guys' rituals do involve some kind of blood sacrifice, which is usually an animal. I'm not going to get into that because that's very triggering for some of the people watching this channel. So we're not going to really get into that. We don't do any human sacrifice at all. Every human should be saved if possible. So I run a very humane business. But in order to break a curse or to actually create change within your spirit, you have to use fire. Okay. And so there's a lot of people that they are afraid of fire. I mean, they would possibly, like, for some reason, it's like a fear. And I think it has a lot to do with, especially a lot of people attempting to do work themselves. When you open, when you open yourself up to the spirit realm, you have to be prepared for the energies that it's going to bring in. So fire, any kind of candle flame with an intent is going to create these changes. And a lot of people are very afraid of those changes. Like, I had a client that the first time she took a spiritual bath, she was like, "Oh my God," she was like, "My heart was beating," and I was like, "Yeah, well, your heart's supposed to be." She's probably watching right now. Shout out to that client, but she's fine now. But it's if you've been hexed, or if you've been existing in a certain way for quite some time, change can be different. Fire represents change. So with these occurrences, and like I said, what I am going to do is burn a candle for the client on a leaf with her name on the front porch tonight, sometime during the witching hour. So I've got to do extra work, but that's okay. And then I'll get it rescheduled for them to pick it up, because it was supposed to be picked up today. I'm sorry, it was supposed to be picked up yesterday, and they did not pick it up. And that is because there is a spirit attachment to that client. Okay. Whenever you have a delay of packages and stuff like that, especially important stuff like that, that means that it's something attached to you, and it probably doesn't want you to have the help that you need. Now, I deal with those cases all the time. Okay. Um, I'm not afraid of the cases that I take, but it's just the point that, I think that what's happening with this client or with this person is that she is not really doing the proper ritual, or either using fire, because herbs, we use herbs with the fire, with the flame. Herbs it's almost like trying to pour syrup on poop and thinking that's going to make it pancakes. Got to remove the poop, or either, I know that's a bad analogy, but you have to break the hex, and hexes have to be broken. So you have to know, like, what to write on your petitions. You have to know what to do. You have to know whether or not it is an appropriate action to send a spirit back to somebody. I don't ever send spirits back to somebody unless spirit tells me to, because it's just gonna so I'd rather just banish shit to hell, purgatory. I don't like to, because some shit don't need to be roaming around. Okay. It doesn't. Some of these spirits are very, very bad, and they just don't need, Right, exactly. You can't, yeah, yeah. So if you funky, you can't just spray it with perfume and it's gonna. So, I feel that this person has a big time hex on them, honestly. And I think that it's going to take more than one candle, probably 9 to 12 candles. And maybe not even all at once. Just some floor wash herbs is not going to really help. And so yeah, and I don't know if you're listening or if you're watching. I'm not going to call out your screen name, but please get back with me, because a lot of people just don't realize that, man, these negative spirits and black magic and curses can just create hell in your life. It can. And when you come to a practitioner, please appreciate your practitioners, especially if they're helping, especially if you're getting the results that you want. Honestly, if you are like, I have seen all kinds of crazy, like a couple of times, like, people not actually appreciating that. Like for me, when I banish a spirit, I've done it so many times. I do it all the time. It's something that, it's not that big of a deal to me, but I also know what these spirits can do. And so therefore I am humble to my spirits that keep my family and keep me safe and protected from this stuff, because and you got to take it seriously. And a lot of people think, oh well, it's suggestion. People are just paranoid. The only thing that people are typically paranoid about is what's called energy harvesting. In about 80 to 90% of the cases, it's not energy harvesting. So a lot of times when you think about energy harvesting, because it's not, yeah, that, I think that a lot of people have been trying to get into that, and you're not harvesting anybody but your own energy. So, because a lot of people will say, "Oh, well, it's coming from your subconscious," but that's how curses affect you on a subconscious level as well. And so this is something that has been able to break through the etheric realm and affect you in a physical way. Okay, so yeah, you do need herbs. You do need herbs that are blessed by a priest, but you also gonna need that firework. Don't be afraid of fire. They told you not to fight fire with fire, but that was another lie that doesn't apply when it comes to the spirit realm, and when it comes to um fire is really the only thing that works. Yes, we do earth magic. I do a lot of earth magic with salt, with dirt, with crystals, with herbs. Yes, but that's something different. When it comes to hexes, you have to fight fire with fire. So, and then also, don't be cheap. I think that a lot of people wanted me to make my services more affordable. Um, and I think that was what it was all about, essentially. However, it's because people want to be cheap. They want to save money. And that, well, you get what you pay for. So when you think about it, you know, if you are trying to obtain 6 or 7 figures, $600 or $1,650 ain't shit. That's not nothing. That's like pennies in comparison to what you're going to manifest. Same thing if you're trying to maintain. If you're trying to maintain what you have built, that money is nothing, because people are going to throw stuff at you. They're going to throw stuff at you out of jealousy, or either just hell, and so being cheap and trying to save money is not a virtue. I have a tendency to do the same thing, but with spiritual work, you don't want to look at it the same way. Even when it comes to the type of candles that you get, because some of these candles that you buy that are very, very cheap, they can have carcinogens in them, and they can be made out of very, very cheap wax, very, very cheap coloring. So just be careful with feeling like, oh, I'm gonna get a bargain on this. And now when push comes to shove, I mean, I don't necessarily mind spending, you know what I'm saying, like, because I'll go to the grocery store and get those cheap St. Jude candles and stuff, and the pictures with the angels and stuff, and so those are okay. But just think about it as far as what you're willing to invest. You have to think about that. What are you willing to invest in yourself? What are you willing to actually invest? I mean, it's okay to kind of start out somewhere when you start out, but in order to achieve that growth, you do have to step things up and start putting forth more of an investment in things. Okay. And so don't just think, oh, well, this is too expensive. My spirits will give you the money. Now, don't go and spend the money on cheap spell work, because again, you're going to get what you pay for. Because, you know, I think that Hollywood, and then sometimes I think that I made it look like it was easy. But as a lot of people can see, it's not that easy getting a spell to work, or even doing a cleanse, or it's not as easy as you think. Okay. And you got to make sure that you have some kind of spirit guidance with that. Um, because they're like, I don't want to scare anybody or spook anybody, but so I'm not even going to go there, because this is, that's not how I manifest, is with fear. I think that it's best for you to be as least afraid as possible, but then just want to understand what you're dealing with. So hopefully USPS will come and pick up the package. For some reason, they didn't. They did not pick it up. And it's so weird. And so I was thinking that it had something to do with a spirit that is trying to stop this person from receiving their herbs. And she probably needs to light like a vigil candle or something. Um, then here's another thing. You don't fight the witchcraft that is on you by fighting against witchcraft. Like, it's one of those things that you have to give your faith to and your trust, and you'll be okay. You know what I'm saying? So, like, for example, if you are removing a hex, just remove it. Why are you upset at witchcraft? You'd have a much better outcome if you just kind of, I don't want to say respect the game, but respect how things are. And, after a while, the next thing you know, you're kind of humming and singing while you're doing this stuff, and then doing it in your sleep. So I don't know. It's so weird. And so if this person is watching, I need for you to communicate with me. And yeah. So anyway, then another thing is that people are very, very intimidated by large groups, like um, you know, covens and stuff like that. But most of us witches are loners, spend a great deal of our time, not necessarily, doing the community outreach type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Because we're either working, meditating, sleeping, living our regular lives. Because, that's another thing. You have to have a balance. You have to, and it's kind of difficult to just turn it off. That's just like, it was in my spirit to just go to sleep. I just kind of wanted to go to sleep. But I had to come on here and talk about this because, just some herbs is not going to help you. And, so I sell primarily until I get somebody to work with me, like in like my shipping department or whatever. I'm going to just stick with the rituals and the readings, because, I think that probably would have, I feel like I blame myself because I did her a disservice by even having those herbs available when that's not what she needs. She needs a like a lot of work, that not, the herbs are going to help, but she's going to need fire and a lot of it. A lot of it. And then also very specific, focused work, because it can be done. It can be done. Anything can be removed. Okay. Don't let nobody tell you anything different. I mean, nobody, I guess, because a lot of people will say, well, what if this is just my negative karma? What if I'm just supposed to have bad karma in this life because maybe I did something in my previous life that was horrible and bad? You just got to believe in God. Do you think God would really do that to you? Like, do you really believe that God would put you on this earth just to torture you and just so that you can be sick or sad or lonely? No, I don't believe that about God. I don't believe that about any God. Because a lot of people will be like, when they get real down, they'll say, well, what if this is just my fate? And I mean, if you accept that, as an inevitability, then what can I say? All I can say is that you could be wrong. So anyway, don't be afraid to fight fire with fire. Don't be afraid to use fire for your magic. I know that there's a lot of people. I sit here and fall asleep with my 7-day candles going all the time. I've actually had fires before. I've had fire flare-ups that did not cause a fire in the house, because my spirits woke me up. They woke me up to, just in the nick of time. So I have very protective spirits, and sometimes I don't want to say they're too overprotective, but I do have protective spirits. So, and I think that if you charge the candle with fear of fire, then you could have backfiring. You know what I'm saying? So if you actually fear it, because I've actually been over to people's houses, I've actually been to family members' houses who were just like, I lit some scented candles and they were like, oh God, no, don't light any candles. I'm like, and she was Christian, and I'm like, why not? It's for fragrance. You know what I'm saying? Some people are afraid of the fire. They are. They think that it's associated with the devil. Well, how do you cook food? How do we warm up our water? How do we warm up our houses? Okay. You can't be afraid of fire. So anyway, I think that that is what keeps a lot of people stuck. And, you just got to get over your fear. Okay. This is when I start giving you some tough love and telling you, get over it. Okay. I've actually had people tell me that, oh, well, I'm afraid of this, afraid of that. Well, then you need to get over it. I need to get over my fears. Yeah, you do. There's a lot of people that have fears and phobias and things of that nature. Um, Most of y'all possibly have very brilliant gifts, or, but you seem to have these fears that hold you back. And by the way, that's when you can tell that somebody is afraid, is when they are attacking other people. This is not even a spiritual thing. This is like a scientific fact. Okay. And then especially when it comes to anxiety, sometimes anxiety will make people angry, because it's a defense mechanism. You may have to get your adrenaline going, and so that's understandable. However, there should be at some point where that experience doesn't necessarily happen, and the energies that you're dealing with have a different effect on you. For example, when we're having energy shifts, there's a lot of people that feel sick, tired, dizzy. And see, this is because you probably need to be cleansed. I've personally have been cleansing myself for the past 6 years. It took me 3 years to completely like cleanse myself to where I was prepared for a generational hex remover. So it's not something that necessarily happens overnight, but results vary. Okay, because I had a lot of stuff that I had to cleanse off of me, and yeah, it's giving me goosebumps right now. So anyway, that's pretty much what I wanted to talk to y'all about. I think fear is holding a lot of people back. And for some reason, I can't help but I feel like they either put on those machines or something. Something is causing people to kind of be hypnotized. I feel like there's a lot of people that are under mind control right now, and I've noticed it. I've noticed it with a lot of people. The people that are not under mind control, I can tell that they're not. But the people that are under mind control, and this is, I don't want to say that it's government, but I think that they work through the government is one portal that they use, but I think that they use several or many. Okay, so anyway, let me not get into all of that. What I wanted to say was sometimes herbs and baths, because a lot of people love to do the water ritual, and I totally get that. Oh, by the way, y'all, I have a haul coming up tomorrow. And I'm going to be doing a floating candle ritual for the group. So I'll be showing y'all all of that stuff tomorrow. So make sure that y'all are tuned in. The floating candles are a wonderful addition to any witch because you're using water and fire together. So I'm going to be showing you guys that tomorrow. But I want you guys to really, really take in what I was saying because literally, um, and I've got to sage the house out again tonight, um, because whatever it was that is attached to this person doesn't want her to have those herbs, was trying to attack me, is now sitting on my front porch inside of a pumpkin, to be honest with you, because whatever it was, it got taken up out of here. So I'm wondering if any of y'all in the circle felt restless today. I don't know. I wasn't sure. Sometimes I don't check out every little thing. Like, I don't know why, but earlier I just kind of felt it was like a Kundalini energy, but I kind of felt a little restless and yeah, I don't, yeah, restlessness, that's not cool. So anyway, anyway, now I'm rambling. I'll let y'all go. Y'all go to sleep. Good night, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Blessings. Blessings to y'all. Bye-bye.